I think what you're going to see today all around the state is you're going to see more resources.
After Hurricane Irma, Governor Rick Scott took responsibility for the state's recovery.
Get this all cleaned up and hopefully get more tourists back in our state.
As part of that cleanup, the governor ignored companies already hired to remove debris and instead brought in more expensive companies to do the work. Now the bills are coming due, and we are learning the governor's emergency debris removal contracts will end up costing the taxpayers an additional $28 to $30 million. That, according to an analysis by CBS News, which reviewed more than 1,000 pages of invoices submitted by the two companies awarded the contracts, Munia Construction Management, better known as MCM, and Community Asphalt. We then compared their rates to the rates charged by the three companies that the governor ignored. Those companies, Ceres Environmental, Bergeron, and Ashbridge. We chose those three companies because all three of them told me that they were willing to do the work in the Florida Keys, but were never asked. Ron Bergeron is the head of Bergeron Emergency Services.
We would have done whatever we were asked to do. Of course.
That's the bottom line.
Of course.
You would have done whatever you were asked to do.
Absolutely.
Tonight, we're learning the governor did not hold himself or his administration to that same standard.
As CBS News first reported in October, the rates being charged, especially by MCM, were believed to be the highest in the state. For example, MCM is charging taxpayers $913 a mile for every curb and gutter they sweep. Ceres would have charged $123 a mile, Ashbridge $32, and Bergeron just $12. Are you aware of what MCM's rate was for per mile work?
No.
It was over $900 a mile.
Seems a little high.
To haul rock, sand, soil, and sediment, MCM charged the state $77.50 a cubic yard. Ashbridge would have charged $11, while Ceres and Bergeron would have charged between $6.50 and $15.95. To remove a washing machine or a dryer or a stove, MCM charged the state $969 for each and every item. Ashbridge would have charged $75, Ceres $48.15, and Bergeron $60. However, it wasn't until MCM and Community Asphalt started submitting bills for all their services that the true cost to taxpayers of these emergency contracts could be measured. We looked at $30.1 million worth of bills submitted by MCM. If that same work had been done by Ashbridge, it would have cost taxpayers $10.4 million. Ceres Environmental would have done it for $9 million, and Bergeron, $8.5 million. A similar story can be found with Community Asphalt. We reviewed $13.5 million in invoices they submitted. Ashbridge would have done it for $5.5 million, Ceres $5.6 million, and Bergeron would have done that same job for $4.1 million.
This is a rookie mistake made by a state that shouldn't be making rookie mistakes.
Scott Amy is with the Project on Government Oversight, a nonpartisan group in Washington that examines wasteful spending by the federal government.
There are pre-existing contracts that exist at the local level, the state level, and even the United States government has pre-existing debris removal contracts. The state could have used any of those contracting vehicles, and they decided not to. And I worry that then that is going to then translate to the federal taxpayer overpaying. And so, I wouldn't be surprised if, the state of Florida ends up having FEMA, the Department of Homeland Security Inspector General, and probably Congress asking some questions about how they went about this process.
The reason why Amy is concerned about federal tax dollars being wasted is that the president has already promised to reimburse the state for the cost of the cleanup.
It's outrageous, and it's not reasonable. It can't be justified.
When we first uncovered the existence of the emergency contracts last year, we interviewed the founder of Ashbridge, Randy Perkins. Now, 6 months later, his opinion hasn't changed.
With the benefit of hindsight and really being able to go through the numbers and dissect them, it might even be worse than I thought it was back then.
Perkins said the $913 a mile MCM charge for sweeping curbs and gutters showed no one was reviewing the bids and that the entire process was rushed to the detriment of taxpayers.
That one line item, should have stood out to people at DOT evaluating these bids and said, we're making a huge mistake here.
Ceres Environmental issued a statement. The contracts are in the public record. The prices speak for themselves.
If this was an open bid and not selected people to bid, you probably would have gotten much more competitive rates.
Amy, with the Project on Government Oversight, said Governor Rick Scott has to take responsibility for what occurred.
It just seems as if they made some mistakes in this administration that should not have been made, and the likely result is, that they're going to overspend, and taxpayers are going to end up picking up a lot of that tab.